Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. I'm your host, RJ, and I'm joined by my fellow co-hosts and legendary mates, co-hosts of honour, Scott the Gooner, Rob the Red Devil. How are we this evening, lads? Robbie, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, well, mate. Well, had a good weekend. United went there to upset me for a change, and the Ferraris got up, so I've been on a bit of a good buzz, mate. So yeah, looking forward to today.
Beautiful, mate. Your
Yeah.
heart's racing just like Scott when he watches the Formula One. You will never find a bigger F1 fan than Scott Paul. You won't.
Mate, it's a hobby, not a sport. It's the same as watering your garden, mate. It's a hobby. But I'm going to cop the ownership of that technical hiccup after our beautiful intro video. I got distracted by seeing all of the lovely people in the live chat on my phone, and I forgot to put us back into the stream. So it's just a little bit of suspense, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with a bit of suspense, I reckon. RJ, how are you, though?
Yeah, doing pretty good, man. I just got back about an hour ago from my son's first football outdoor session. So I'm his coach, as you know, and it was really good, man. I was pretty excited. You know, under sevens this year, everybody's buzzing, and just good to get everybody back out on the pitch. So here to talk football.
Love it.
Well, it's just quickly, I want to throw it in at the start because before everyone goes, again on the weekend, Manchester United Supporters Club New South Wales versus the Chelsea Sydney Supporters Club for charity. Tom, I know you're in the chat, so if you want to chuck the link up, any dollars for charity, guys, or for a good I think it's going again to the food bank of New South Wales and Canberra, or for a good cause. Get involved if you can.
And the real winner is football when those two clubs go head to head, right? Except United are garbage. Let's have a look at the people in the live chat. We've got Lottie here. Lottie, how's it going? I know you've got a big stream in the morning. You're doing some great work on the women's football. Absolutely love it. Marty's here. Evening, Marty. How did I know you'd be here tonight? There's some weeks where we don't see much of Marty, but there are some weeks you know he'll be here. We've got Daniel in the house. Daniel, good to see you, our friend. Tom's here. David is here. Another one who miraculously has returned after a couple of weeks missing. It's been a rough time since Bielsa. But boys, we're going to be focused. We're going to be determined. We're going to look at the FA Cup. We're going to recap the action. I mean, no big shocks there. We'll look at some of the Premier League action, of course. I want to talk a little bit about celebrations as well, because obviously you'll have noticed in the media there's been a lot of talk, criticism of Arsenal for their celebrations after the win against Villa. I want to get your thoughts on that soon enough. Is celebrating in football a bad thing? Or is this just, not wanting to see a club become reborn? And we're going to do some quick fires. We're going to look at some international football. It's a busy, busy night. Boys, we're going to start with RJ because his team is still in the FA Cup, unlike ours, Robbie. And they had a nice win against Borough. You'd be happy to go through, I'm assuming, Wembley bound. Just quickly give us your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're right. Of course, we're happy another Wembley appearance. We seem to be quite good at that, but unfortunately, we've become a little bit like the Gunners of old, where we just fail at the last hurdle. Good one there, Eddie. I like that, mate. We also said it's a food thing at times. It kind of feels like that. But from Chelsea's perspective, professional performance, Middlesbrough, what I will give them credit for is they didn't die wondering. They gave it a red-hot crack. This was a team that made it very difficult at times. But what I will say about us is that I'm glad that we fielded a strong team based on who was available, but also the goals we scored as well. Top shelf goals from back to front, like literally the passing sequence from Azpilicueta to Thiago Silva, all the way through Mason Mount, who put on a platter for Lukaku, who couldn't miss. That's the kind of football we've been asking for all season, and that's the kind of predatory finishes we want from Big Rom. And then Ziyech, birthday boy, scored an absolute rocket, took a bit of a swerve, and back into the semi-finals against, I know it's Crystal Palace. So I know we'll talk about that. But just wrapping up, Chelsea specifically, mate, very pleased with that professional display. And I kind of think that they're thriving on this whole siege mentality mantra at the moment.
How often do you see it in professional sport, though? You see a team that is put under the pump, put under adversity, and they can really come together. I mean, it's just remarkable how Thomas Tuchel, who I think deserves a lot of credit, has steered the ship, has kept it calm over some pretty rocky seas, to continue the metaphor, And that team is still performing very, very well. So I think Thomas Tuchel deserves massive, massive props. But in all fairness, I was expecting you to beat Borough. I mean,
Yeah, I was too, to be fair. But let's be honest too, they've also secured a few big scalps and they shouldn't be underestimated because they're doing not too bad as well in the championship. So, look, I'm happy we progressed.
Could be coming up. I mean, in the other match as well, it was an interesting week for your mate Frank. We had Crystal Palace demolishing Everton 4-0. Robbie, I know you didn't catch the game, but does that result shock you? 4-0?
Nah, look, I think Palace is a quality team this year, as we've all seen, and I don't think that was a big priority for Frank and Everton at this moment. But look, obviously they're drawing. Crystal Palace are drawing Chelsea now in the semi-final. And look, I don't think it'll be an easy game, but I do expect Chelsea to progress in that. And look, mate, if they do progress, another final for Chelsea. I feel like every year they're in one or two finals, man. So you got to take the hat off to them. They're always in the hat for the silverware, and like I said, even right now with all the problems that are having and stuff, they're still fighting on all fronts.
Let's just quickly, before we move on to Premier League action, there are 4 teams left. We've got Chelsea playing Palace, which is an easy walk through for them. I said it while you were nodding, RJ, so now you look arrogant. And then we've got City and Liverpool. They're 2 huge matches, and as Marty said in the chat, in all seriousness, you'd hate to be playing Palace away. They're going to be so up for this, you know that. Who wins the FA Cup, boys? I just want one team. I don't want the final. I want the winner, and I'm happy to go first if you need time.
Yeah, I'll go City.
You're going City? Why?
Yeah. I just think that I think they'll beat. I don't know who's home and away, but I do think they'll beat Liverpool in that. I still think that the race is open. Sorry?
It's at the Etihad.
Yeah, I think they'll beat them there, and then I'd see them bursting Chelsea in the final, and I think they'd maybe want a little bit of revenge possibly on Chelsea from the Champions League final. And look, I don't think they've got their hands grasped on that Premier League trophy yet, and anyone's game in the Champions League. So yeah, I think out of the 3 trophies, maybe they'll definitely want to get this one over the line, possibly. So I think City for the FA Cup.
RJ, I'm pretty confident I can predict your answer, but go on, mate. Let's hear it anyway.
It's got to be Chelsea from here on in, mate. We're cup specialists at the moment. Tuchel's rallied the troops, but from a neutral point of view, how good would it be if Palace went all the way from here? That would be some story. And of course, with Mark Gehey at the back and Conor Gallagher, you never say never, but I think we can take this.
Would Conor Gallagher be able to play it or not?
Not against us, no.
Yeah, I don't think so, yeah.
I wish he did play against us. A couple of cheeky own
goals. That'd be a massive loss for Palace, Conor Gallagher.
Definitely.
I like this.
That midfield.
I like this from Lottie, though, because Patrick Vieira, for me, has... All right, you're probably going to think I sound a bit stupid for saying it. He's my manager of the season at this point in time. Right now, at this point. What he has done with this Palace team, and you look at that Palace team, right? There's no one in there that you would say is a star. Zaha can be inconsistent, but he's not quite risen to that level. And he hasn't even arguably been their main man this season. For me, the job that Patrick Vieira has done at Palace is commendable, and his managerial stock has absolutely been boosted by this. But I'm going to go with Liverpool to win this. You guys know I have big props on Liverpool, and I think they'll go all the way. Their attack to me is just so good. It's so good. But I think it'll be Liverpool or City, but I'm going to go Liverpool. Yeah. Let's look at the Premier League action. I want to talk about Spurs. I don't really, but I have to talk about Spurs. Really impressive win for them against London rivals West Ham and top 4 rivals, because they're 2 teams that are right in this fight. 3-1 against the Hammers. That's a good result. I didn't catch this one live. I did catch the highlights. I don't know if you saw any of it, RJ. But what were your thoughts on Spurs? This is another good result for them.
It's huge, mate. It's just another example of Conte in a domestic competition. He knows how to fire him at the right time of the season. And that's why I think if we rewind the clock back, I think you'll see that I had Spurs creeping in on that 4th spot begrudgingly. But, yeah, I think West Ham, it was a pretty even game, I thought. But Spurs in the end just too strong, and that's what you need to do to really take it to the teams that are in and around you. So as much as it hurts me to say it, credit to Conte and his Spurs because they played a very good game.
Absolutely. And we've got Borges jumped in from the football capital, repping his North Macedonia flags in there. We will be talking about this soon. Don't worry, man. I'm in your corner. So you stick around because I'll need some backup. Great result for them. What did you think about it, though, Robbie? Because Spurs are sneaking under that radar. Everyone's talking about the Gunners. A lot of people are starting to say that it's a foregone conclusion that Arsenal are fourth. But God, wouldn't that be a good win for Spurs to take fourth from this position?
Would be massive. But in your words, Arsenal's got fourth on lock. So
for me, it's locked down.
It's locked down for you. But look, that was one of the only games I did watch over the weekend, and obviously it was after the Formula One, so I was up. And again, I predicted Spurs were going to get this one over the line because I do think they'll still. I think they'll push you guys. It could go down to the wire. I think that North London derby will be massive when it does happen. Again, what did I say last week, mate? That front three of Kulusevski, Kane, and Heung-min Son are turning up, and they're getting them over the line every week. Another 2 assists, I think, from Kane. Another 2 goals.
What a signing he's been, Robert. Kulusevski, very underrated.
He's been really great in that team, mate. He's really good. But like I said, Son stood up 2 big goals. And like I said, a big derby game, a big London derby game against a direct rival, getting 3 points is massive for Spurs. So, again, credit to them. They can smell that top 4. And I think this top 4 race will be just as exciting as the title race, I think. And Bentancur was class as well.
I still don't think they've got enough to come and take it, but that North London derby, that to me is going to be the one. All we need to do is draw it. We just need to hold Spurs and keep doing what we're doing. But I'm not going to say I'm scared of Spurs because I'm not scared of Spurs. Spurs are a team that have never won anything in my lifetime, so I'm not going to fear them. But I'd certainly have rather play the Spurs from a couple of months ago than the Spurs now. They're going to give us a much, much better game. I like this comment from Lottie because obviously we had the heartbreaking news that Mike Dean is retiring at the end of the season. I do like this. Scott, you just know it'll be the last game and Mike Dean will be the ref. You know what? Wouldn't be shocked. The Premier League hate us, Lottie. Hate us, making us play Chelsea and United in 3 days. What a joke.
Oh, here we go. You play once every 25 days and you're complaining.
Yeah,
it's all. Or why? It's like that. I need that Balotelli shirt. Why always me? Remember that one?
Look, I remember it.
Speaking of my team, speaking of Arsenal, I want to talk a little bit about our result because we had a really tough match against Aston Villa, who are no slouches. In saying that, for me, we dominated the match. From start to finish, I felt like we were in control. We just needed to get the ball in the back of the net. Everything else was happening quite well. For me, Ben White, massive game. Gabriel, massive game. Again, the defense has been a massive reason for where we are. Arteta has got that right. He's got the defense in line. Great news for us seeing young William Saliba called up to the French national team as well. He's our centre-back. He's on loan. It gives us nice headaches ahead of next season. The attack, Saka, who I thought was a little bit tired, just terrorised them and probably got lucky with the goal. Got lucky with the goal because it went through about 8 sets of legs. Emi Martinez didn't see it till late, but couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke. So good result. Big 3 points again against another rival. I want to talk about Ashley Young, though, boys. I want to get your thoughts on this as neutrals. Try and keep this as neutral as possible. We had Ashley Young come out after the game and pretty much say, and you could tell he was upset. Just lost a big game. No one enjoys it. But came out criticising the Arsenal players, saying, the way they celebrated, it was like they just won the league. And you could the salt was oozing. Now, before I give my views on it, we've seen this happen with Arsenal as well after Wolves, where Wolves came out. Pedro Neto, I think it was, coming out and having a whinge that we over-celebrated. I don't seem to hear this about other teams, and maybe you guys can say, no, people have said it about us too. But what are your thoughts on this? What do you think, Rob? Did we over-celebrate, or is this just saltiness?
Well, firstly, when I hear Ashley Young, I'd hate to remind you of that game, but I had to.
I don't want to hear it.
But I'm not honestly. I've got no issue with the celebrations of Arsenal, and I just think it's super salty from anyone else complaining. Again, that they can really smell that Champions League spot. They're moving in on them every single game, and this if they do secure that, this will be absolutely massive for Arsenal in many aspects. Not just having Champions League for the first time in 5 years, but that opens doors to more money, more signings, bigger name signings. So this could be a massive thing to continue on to the little project they got with the youth coming through. If they can go in and they can get some, that near world-class players because of the Champions League attraction, it's massive. And I think that team's got the belief to say we can get this Champions League spot, and they're going to celebrate every single win, and I don't see nothing wrong with it.
RJ, your views?
I think it's more about, is it, like you said, they interviewed him straight after a game. His emotion's going to be all-time high. The team, Villa played poor. They were poor. Arsenal kept the foot on the throttle without really doing too much themselves, but they got a good win. They deserved to win. And they should celebrate. And you brought about nobody seems to else get affected. Thomas Tuchel got bagged out the other week when Kai Havertz scored a 90th minute against Newcastle, who were at 10 games on a winning streak, basically. So, look, for me, it's all part of the theatre. And Gabby Ogbonlor, I expected a bit better from him. It's just a bit of deflection. That's all it is. And on the one hand, he's probably right saying, historically speaking, you expect them to win. But equally, Arsenal haven't been the top flyers in recent seasons, and every win gets them one step closer to getting back into the Champions League. So, yeah, you could argue, are there degrees of celebration? Like, do you need to go absolutely psychotic, or do you contain it? But at the end of the day, you'd rather people go over the top than act like a bunch of mute robots. So, look, that's just a salty opposition fan and player, and that's it. Just take your medicine and be quiet. That's all. They deserve to celebrate.
Yeah, like stuff like a couple of years back, I'm sure we remember when I think it was Klopp and Liverpool that celebrated like the
halfway run he did.
Yeah, from like against Palace, a draw against Palace or something. So that's ridiculous. That's banter. That's just. But again, they're closing in on Champions League. Go for it, man. I said maybe a little bit over the top, but that's just the way they're feeling at the moment. They're
the question is now, do they risk looking silly now if they have celebrated prematurely if they don't end up doing it, because they haven't won anything yet? They're on track to do something, but if they lose, it's a waste of time.
It feels to me like it's that relief. When you're grinding out a game 1-0, it's not like we were up 8-0 and we were celebrating the 8th winner going mental. We had to hold that. And that's something that Arsenal haven't been able to do for a long time. And you guys know what it's like. You both played. When your team is winning, and it's really tight and it could flick in a moment and it's a big game, they're sometimes the sweetest games. They're the sweetest wins, the ones where you've had to work your backside off and you've just held on to it. I have no issue with the celebration. I think opposition pundits, fans, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't sit there and say, Arsenal are going to bottle every game's a cup final. Well, you can't say every game's a cup final, and then when we celebrate, say, why are you celebrating? Is it not meant to be a cup final? You also can't come out at the start of the season and say, this team, they're not even going to qualify for Europe. They're finished. They're a dead club. They're not a big club. And then get upset when we are, at this point, overachieving. You can't have it both ways. We can't be a tiny club that aren't fit for Europe and then get upset when we celebrate that we're in great positioning to qualify for the Champions League. You can't have both. I just want to look at a couple of comments from the live chat. You got Tom saying he has no issue with celebrating, but he felt it was over the top and it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not embarrassed at all. I'd be more embarrassed if I was Villa and I lost the game, to be honest, and barely mustered a shot on target. I actually don't think it's got anything to do with the Amazon documentary. There's a good spirit at Arsenal at the moment. There's a team mentality, similar to Chelsea in that siege mentality. We've got that mentality of no one believed in us anyway, but we're going to do it. So I have no problem with it. I didn't find it embarrassing in one bit. I want them to keep celebrating. Lottie saying anything for a whinge, it's got that bad. Can you imagine waiting 38 games to celebrate? those 3,000 away fans deserve that for travelling. Absolutely. Absolutely. Few more. Celebration police are the worst. Yep. I have major issues with them. Football capital, Borche saying Liverpool Bundesliga waves against West Brom. Players get stick for not showing enough emotion, and then they get stick for showing emotion. Yep. Oh, I agree. And we'll finish with this one from Alex. Every game for the rest of the season's a cup final for the teams chasing fourth. Absolutely it is. So long may we continue
it's
to
just personal
celebrate.
preference, though, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because at the end of the day, like you said, when you're chasing something as important as top four or going for the Premier League, every win feels a little bit bigger than 3 points. But sometimes people have relief and they celebrate their own way. They don't necessarily go and absolutely go wild, but some people do. And I think people should just not look too far into this sort of stuff and just focus on the football. These narratives that are being created are just for media punditry, just to have some headlines to talk about that's not football related. So, yeah, I don't know, it's a bit of a waste of time.
It's the same with the bottom half of the table, but you see when like those people that are in the relegation fight, every time they win a game or score a goal, even everyone losing their nuts like they've just won a cup final.
It's huge.
Staying or getting those 3 points to try and stay in the Premier League is just as big as getting top four for teams like us. So yeah, like I've got no issue with it, man.
One team that should be celebrating as if they just won the World Cup. I know David is in the house. Leeds going 2-0 down at the Molineux to come back and turn it around 3-2. That late Luke Ayling winner. Absolutely rocking match. It was a great one for the neutrals. And congratulations to Leeds. Massive congrats to them. I've written them off. This might be my moment, like Rob's with Newcastle, where I said Leeds are dumb. But they're turning around. And that's a huge, huge statement win. Because to beat Wolves after being 2-0 down is huge. Absolutely huge. I don't know if you had any comments on Leeds, Robbie.
Again, the last couple of weeks, I've said since they've had bringing their new manager.
Is it Jesse Marr? Is Jesse Marr?
Yes, the American guy. I think it was from. I think it was Leipzig or something. It came from. That's it. They needed a change. They bring in a change, and like I said, he's definitely come in and steered the ship in the right way, mate. They're getting wins. They're getting results. They're tightening up a little bit. If you go back in those last 3-4 games under Bielsa, they conceded like 15 goals in 3 games. So this guy's done them all the world of good, and good luck to him. I'm a United fan and I hate Leeds, but take off my United hat as a neutral. I think this is a positive move since they're bringing their new manager. They're going upwards, and that's where they need to be going.
Before we go to RJ for any of his views, just want to remind you to smash that like button. Let's get it to double digits for the stream tonight. We're here for a good time. May not be the longest one, so do it straight away. Smash that button. If you haven't subscribed for some crazy reason, maybe you've forgotten to click it, make sure you do that as well. We are on the road to 600 now. That's the next mini milestone for us. RJ, any quick words on Leeds before we look at some internationals?
Yeah, actually, it's not just Leeds, but we're talking about the ramifications for the bottom of the ladder. So huge win for Leeds, but also we want to have a bit of a laugh at the Toffees 4-0 thrashing. They got a huge win, 10 men against Newcastle at Goodison Park. Humongous win for Frank and for their Premier League prospects. They're 3 games for the good against Leeds, and I've got the ladder in front of me. I'm not sure if you've got it as well. But basically that win is absolutely gigantic for them because they've played 27 now compared to Leeds' 30 and are only 4 points behind now. So the ball's very much in their court. The red card was very unfair to Allen, first of all. Disgraceful decision, in my opinion. But then after that finish from Iwobi, that was something from a neutral point of view. Great finish. So, yeah, huge results for both Leeds and Everton. They're going to need to keep producing them because unless it's Norwich, with all due respect, it's not quite done yet for the others because, as you can see, Burnley got a couple of games in hand. Yeah. And Watford, one win away, and all of a sudden they're in and around that conversation for 17. So, yeah, big praise for both Leeds and Everton last weekend.
Yeah, it's getting very tight down the bottom of the table there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm sure it's something that we'll be talking about a fair bit more in future streams. But we are on the cusp of an international. We're on the cusp of an international break. My least favourite thing. I hate international football. I'm going to put it on record. I don't want the Premier
Did
League.
you know that, Rob? I thought he
Yeah,
loved it like F1. He's the biggest ambassador for both.
Add it to the list.
Mate, I know, look, sometimes I'm a bit of a whinger. I get it. But, mate, if I can't whinge here, who can I whinge to? My missus isn't interested in hearing my thoughts on this. But we do have some big matches. And I'm a little bit... I know I always get into it when it's there, but let's look at these because you boys are going to be into this far more than me. I want to zoom in a little bit. We're using our graphic from our friends at Optus Sport. Italy and North Macedonia. Surely we're all North Macedonia, aren't we?
Oh, Scotty.
Maybe everybody but Rob and I.
We're all North Macedonia. Let's get into it. I won't say too much. I'm going to shut up. RJ, Robbie, the floor is yours. Just talk to us about this match.
Robbie.
Look, me personally, boys, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this whole break. I've been nervous about it for a few months, man, to be honest. And it's just, I think the pressure is the biggest thing for us. You know, being, we just come off winning the Euros a few months ago, and to be in a position like this where we didn't get automatic qualification is really nerve-wracking, and it's a lot of pressure on the team. We have got quite a few big names out as well. Chiesa's out, Spinazzola's out. I think only 2 of our defenders from the Euro final starting. Bonucci's out, massive. Chiellini only just come back from injury and he had 45 minutes for Juve on the weekend. Who else? I think the Napoli right back, he's gone out. So we've just got a lot of outs. It's more than documented how our strikers, especially Immobile, Belotti, they just don't seem to be do it for the Azzurri like they do it at their league. I was actually hoping that Balotelli was going to get a late call up. Last minute didn't get the call up. I'd like to see Mancini go a bit brave and maybe use the Sassuolo boys because they're young and they're really firing. Scamata, obviously Brady, he should be there. But look, everyone looks at North Macedonia. No disrespect as a minor compared to Italy. They will give us a run for our money, mate. I know it's in Italy, but the pressure's on us, and that's the worst thing, mate. Italy normally turn up when it's one of the big boys. It's always the smaller nations that give us a bit of a heart attack. So I do think we'll just edge this one, and then obviously we'll see what happens after that. I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 win to the Azzurri.
This is just one match, right? There's no second leg.
This is a one match, no second leg.
Extra
and then
time penalties.
Sorry?
Extra time and penalties.
Yeah, there has to be a winner in this, and then whoever wins this match will verse Portugal or Turkey for the final to qualify for the World Cup.
RJ, is it squeaky bum time like David is saying in the chat?
Been a bit negative there, David. Come on, channel your inner positive Leeds momentum. We need it. We need it all for both countries, obviously. We're Australian as well. I don't know. I agree a lot with Rob's sentiments. Our forward line is very... What's a nice way of saying it? They're just not... They don't give me much hope or enthusiasm.
Not clinical.
They're not clinical. They don't even... We dominate possession, but a lot of the time it's purposeless possession, and that frustrates me. I think North Macedonia will be pragmatic. They're going to absorb a lot, you think, and try to, in between, look to force people like Jorginho off the ball. But I don't know, man. I'm just a bit nervous that we're not going to be able to break them down. I actually think we will get through. It's going to be very tight, like you're saying, but I'm going to go for a 1-0 to Azzurri.
Boys,
Sam is not too far off it sometimes. No joke. I think like that on occasion. It must be not a blue, it's a blue thing, not a Chelsea thing.
I want to give Sammy a quick shout out as well. He asked, is that a gold piece in the corner? That corner there. I actually won this in a competition he ran on his Insta page. It's in a league of their own on Insta. It's got underscores in between. So make sure you check him out too. Feel free to chuck a link in the chat too, man. Pick this up from him along with many others. So he's always bringing the fire with kids. We got my man Gary in the chat as well. How are you, my friend? Nice to see you in here. All the way from the States. Love it.
Nice.
Tom, Italy versus Portugal would get me in front of the TV during the international break. Viva Ronaldo. Mate, I'd be singing Viva Ronaldo right there with you. Right there with you. How shocked would you be, though, boys, if this North Macedonian team did pull off, and we're going to call it the upset? Would you be seriously shocked if they knocked out Italy? Or are you a little bit nervous because Italy haven't been in great form?
No, I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't be shocked. And like I said, if you go back to the couple games we had after Euros, I think it might have been Lithuania. That's where we dropped stupid points in that game. I think it was a 1-1 draw, and mate, they were like $15 to 1. Like that was just a big, massive upset, just as in a draw. So you have to think that, like I said, we've seen Macedonia, as they said here. Like last year, they beat Germany. In a game like this is like a World Cup final to them, mate. Getting it just past a big nation like Italy, and possibly getting against a Turkey or a Portugal for that final to get spot for the World Cup is massive for them. And we all know, and a bit of adrenaline rush can do in a football game. So yeah,
and there's no expectation, Roll. That's the thing.
Exactly.
The pressure is on Italy. That's the problem. What makes me concerned.
Can you imagine the story, mate? Miners, Macedonia knock out Euro champions Italy. That'll be massive for them. That'll go down in their history. So I do think we will still edge it. I think we've got a quality midfield. That's where I'm positive. Our midfield is quite quality. Barella, Verratti, and Jorginho, they're our strong points at the moment. And if they can feed the front three and we get chances, and we've got the home match, which I'm hoping works to our advantage in front of a home crowd, I think we should get this one over the line.
Anything else you wanted to add, RJ, before we quickly chat about the other games?
Nah, that's it. Just Forza Azzurri, hey?
Forza.
Yeah, nah. We've got Portugal, Turkey. I know you had big tabs on this Turkey team prior to the Euros, Robbie. You tipped them as like a dark horse to do quite well. We all saw that they were really disappointing in the Euros. I see them getting done. I think Cristiano Ronaldo, this Portugal team, there's too much quality, and I only see defeat for Turkey, and I'm thinking something like 3-1, to be completely honest. Robbie, Arj, any of you? Do you see any chance of an upset?
Portugal, I think, will be too strong. I did mention we had a lot of outs. They, for this game, have a lot of outs too. I think combination of injuries and suspensions. There's some big names, Cancelo, Diaz, Ronaldo Sanchez, and I think one or two other players. So they have got quite a couple big name players out, but they've got a stacked team, man, and a lot of quality. Again, Ronaldo up top, always clinical for Portugal. And, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, they've got a great goalkeeper. They're stacked. This will be a massive upset too. If Turkey beating them was just as bad as Macedonia beating us, in my opinion. So I think Portugal, Italy should make that final. And, it's crazy to think that one of those is going to miss out on the World Cup if it does happen like that.
Yeah. RJ, no chance of an upset, right?
Well, you say he's always clutch for Portugal, but Mr. Champions League came up short last game too. So we can't just say Ronaldo is going to be the saviour for them. I very much don't think so now. And I know he's fresh because he doesn't play as much these days. But you could get the hat-trick Ronaldo, or you could get the missing Ronaldo, or even the people behind him might be missing too, not giving him the service he needs. But I don't know. I don't think it's as much of a shock as North Macedonia beating us, I have to be honest. I think they should win. I agree. In Portugal, they should win. I think Turkey's going to make a good fist of it, though, man. Like you said, because of the unavailabilities for Portugal. But again, I could see it both being tight 1-0 wins to Chelsea. I was going to say Italy and Portugal.
Wow.
He's a
What do you
hater.
mean? I'm being fair,
He's
mate.
a
I
hater,
like Ronaldo. Full respect
least-
for
at
Ronaldo.
least
One of the
when
best. One of the best.
My criticism of Pessi is constructive. RJ is just, he's that kind of bloke. This is the kind of guy he is. So
I
one
wish it was
praise for me and Rob.
constructive.
I just think there's too much. There's too much clinical plays in that front line. Joao Felix, Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Bruno
He's a
Fernandes.
very good player.
They got a really good midfield. Okay, even if you take out Ronaldo in that team, they've still got plenty of goals in that team. So, like I said, I think that they should do them, especially in Portugal is another big thing as well.
Gunaretti is saying in the chat, and this was interesting, we should scrap World Cup qualifiers. It should be based upon the regional finals or performances such as in the Euros or Copa America. This is probably the first time ever, but I actually disagree with my man Gunaretti. and we're normally completely agreed. I really like the thrill of the qualifiers, even though I'm not the biggest fan. There is a thrill factor to it. I think it makes excellent viewing for the neutral, and I also think it makes teams accountable. Like this Italian team, and I'm not trying to take the mick, they did such a good job in winning the Euros. Yeah, they were brilliant. If we just used kind of rankings or their qualification and their performance in the Euros, they would be in this World Cup, which to me, and the boys might disagree, but their form in the qualifiers was poor. They don't deserve automatic entry into the World Cup. And if they can get through these qualifiers, I actually think we'll see a stronger Italy for the experience of having to get through these high-pressure matches. RJ, would you scrap the World Cup qualifiers?
I think there's a good business case for it if you take the players' well-being into account. Like, I think if you're going to win major tournaments, it's nice to have that incentive that you should stroll your way in through. But then there's the counter argument that if you're good enough to win it, you should breeze through qualifiers anyway. But the same two teams weren't playing. So the team that won the Euros isn't the same team on paper. So it's not really fair to draw that conclusion. I do think it makes a lot of sense to have that conversation just purely from the reduce the amount of games factor, or at least the top. So like if the winners of both tournaments got a safe way through, just like the winners of the Champions League get qualification for next season's Champions League, why don't they need to qualify again, even if you finish sixth like Chelsea did that year in 2012? So I think it's got a bit of merit to it, to be fair.
Fair shout, Robbie.
Yeah, look, again, I'm a bit of both. I don't think that they should be scrapped because I think everyone should be on a level playing field. And like I said, it's kind of like the Super League. If you're going to be like just giving people, handing people or working off, rankings and stuff like that. Because, I think it was 4 years ago, we seen someone like a Finland, first time ever in the World Cup. That's a massive little story from such a, a population of 300,000 people or something. To get to the World Cup is massive. But on the other hand, again, I think there should be some stuff like your champions of each continent, for me, should be qualifying directly. That should be something, like I said, as a reward. Because, they've scrapped in the last 1 or 2 years. There used to be the Confederations Cup, and there used to be, obviously, the winner of every confederation would play another cup again. They've scrapped that now. But, yeah, for me, your Copa, your Euro, your, Asian Cup, all those ones which have dominated for that tournament of their country, they should be a direct spot for the World Cup, and then they still should be qualifying for everyone else. Because, again, you're not really getting rewarded for it. You get your trophy, you win your thing, but before you used to get rewarded, or it used to be like winning the Champions League and going on to the Super Cup and the Club World Cup. You used to have the Confederations Cup as another chance to win something, and it used to be before in the qualifying, it used to be top two would also go through. They've scrapped that, which I think is stupid as well. Now it's top one goes through, and then, and we didn't have a bad qualifying. We finished equal first or whatever it was. And then, obviously we lost right at the last day. So we weren't bad. We had 1 or 2 dodgy results. But besides that, we're undefeated. We never lost the game until...
a couple of missed penalties against Switzerland. Exactly. And it was a different conversation. Jorginho missed the ice cold. If he gets one of his 2 penalties he missed, we're not talking about this.
I think, it's a bit harsh, but that's the way it is. And that's it. It would just suck, back-to-back World Cups not being there if that was to come to the crunch.
Oh, look, it wouldn't suck for all of us, but certainly for you two. Last international fixture I want to talk about, because if you weren't watching last week, we won't be doing a stream on Thursday evening, and that's because the national team, the Socceroos, have a crunch match against Japan. It's absolutely huge. This was the squad. We can see some friends in there. Where's our man, Mitch Duke? Robbie reminded him that when he scores the winner, he's going to do that three celebration for the boys at the IFT pod. But I'm happy with this squad. I'm really happy with this squad. I think it's probably the best squad we've got at this point. And it is an absolute crunch match against Japan.
Just quickly, too late. Irvine's out. I think he got possibly COVID, and just recently Tom Rodgers is out of the squad too, which is a massive loss for the Aussies as well, man.
And Graham Arnold obviously didn't help his situation
Graham Arnold
with his isolation.
That's it makes you even more nervous, doesn't it? Japan, are a very good team. They're a very pacey team. But as Mitch was saying when he was on the stream with us, if you're going to pull that green and gold on, you need to be ready to go. You need to believe that you can win. And one thing that we know Aussies are famous for is that fighting spirit. So I wish them the very best of luck because I think we're in for a tough match against Japan. I'm actually thinking it'll be a draw, to be honest, but I'm hoping that Mitch Duke smashes it. What do you reckon, Robbie? You see the Aussies with a chance?
Yeah, look, if I'm going to be honest, mate, look, heart says obviously I want to see the Aussies as well. You know, I'd love them to make it to the World Cup final, the World Cup finals. Similar to Italy, they're doing it a little bit the hard way. A lot of people are pretty confident, you know, they're going to beat Japan and Saudi Arabia. They're the top two in the group at the moment, and they've been there on merit as well. They've performed. And I think if we can pull off a win against Japan and then go into that Saudi game, that's massive. Huge. Again, for me too, I really hope it happens, but I can see a draw, possibly even an upset, man. Well, not an upset. Like Japan is a really good team, man. But again, a full stadium at Australia in Sydney will be massive for the Socceroos and the fighting spirit. I do see a draw, but let's hope the Aussies get over the line.
Look, let's absolutely hope. What do you reckon, RJ?
Well, back to country, boys. I know we're missing a couple of key players, but I'm hoping the home crowd really makes a big difference here. We haven't had much luck. We've been able to go and support our team here in Australia. So, I don't know, man. I'm looking for a morale-boosting win here. It's huge. It's all to play for. Does the impact of Graham Arnold not being there going to matter too much? You'll probably just call in via the phone anyway, but I don't know, man. There's something there. I'm hoping, like Daniel said again, I think we have enough here. I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Socceroos in massive hope.
Oh, look, I hope. Because, if we don't get the win here, we're doing it the hard way. Simple as that. Because the only way to get automatic qualification is to do both wins. They have to beat both teams at this international break for automatic. Always, if they don't, I think they go into, the long way. So I think it's third and third in the two groups, which at this stage would be United Arab Emirates, which that'll be home and away, which I think they'll do that. And then if they get past that, then that'll be a cracker game. At this stage, they'll play Uruguay in the intercontinental qualification, home and away. And can you imagine the scene back? It'll be like 2005 all over again, man.
I remember, it's funny. I remember when we changed. You remember how Australia used to qualify
Oceania
via Oceania, and then it became Asia. We qualified through Asia, and we got so criticised that we were taking the easy way out. We were just looking for an easy way to get into the World Cup. When you look at the standard now of football, particularly throughout the Middle East, I'm no expert, but using the eye test, these teams are not easy beats anymore. UAE is not an easy game. Qatar is not an easy game.
Saudi Arabia.
So, none of this is easy because all of these countries, and particularly that part of the world, the football has improved so much. And then you've still got your teams like Japan, who are juggernauts of Asia in their own right. So, look, we wish them all the best, obviously, particularly Duke. We want to see that celebration. And I think we've just got to take this one game at a time, boys. It's 100%. Game at a time. Let's see what they can do. But we're all behind them. We're all behind them and hope they win. It's been a big show, but it's not finished yet. We've got some quick fires to do. RJ, you good to go, or do you want me to go first?
No, I'm good. So my question, I was watching the Rocky Marathon the other day on Go, which was good little pump up, as I shared in the group chat. I just want to get your thoughts on what's one particular scene in any of the Rocky movies that you really love, that you just call back on and say, you know what, that was an awesome scene. Any of the Rocky movies? What did you?
It has to be that part when he's climbing the stairs and he's like this, man. That's a massive.
Oh, for the first one, you mean?
Yeah, that's just it's such a memorable part of the movie, mate. It's G's you up, you know.
Nah, for me, it's the montage when he's training in Russia and he's doing the old school way, mate. That's how I used to work out back in the day. Got the shirt off, lifting wheelbarrows full of bricks, doing chin ups underneath the shed. it just takes me back. So it's definitely that montage. Absolutely.
That was
right.
incredible. You know what I love about it? Because it's nature versus technology. He's the underdog. He's in the country, and all the metaphors. Him chopping down the tree. That's symbolic of him hitting the ribs of Drago. That whole scene is incredible. But for me, my favorite one is actually in the fight itself when he's getting bashed and whatnot. But then he actually lands his first significant punch, and the commentator's like, the Russian's cut, and you see his eyes bleeding, and all of a sudden the music switches over, and all of a sudden he has a hope. So, yeah, incredible.
Just quickly on the Rocky series, how good is it? Like, I actually enjoyed nearly him more as a mentor for, what was that movie? Was it Apollo's Son with Michael B. Jordan? Creed. I love him just as much in that movie, man, like as a mentor and like as a coach for him. That was a cracker movie as well.
Marty, mate, nothing but love here. Tell you what, and this as well. Great quote. RJ's actually got this quote tattooed over his heart. It's one of his. If he took his shirt off, you'd see.
Yeah.
Here you go, Robbie. Look, this might upset a few people, but I think Creed 1 and 2 were better than any of the Rocky movies. Can I confess? I didn't watch any of the Creed movies. Guys,
they were good movies. They were
really
good.
I really enjoyed the Creed 1 and 2, both movies. I really thought they were good. Like I said, I actually enjoyed him as a mentor and a coach, and that, like, you've seen a different side of him, man. So I really enjoyed them. But like I said, man, all Rockies are just they're legendary movies, man. But you have to see Creed, man. Cracking movie.
Go on, Robbie. Your turn, mate.
Boys, just got a couple quickly. I'll keep on the Socceroos theme for one. Your favorite Socceroos game you've attended?
Ooh. It's a good question. It's a very good question. What was the last one we went to? We went to one together, all the boys.
Yeah, the final against South Korea. That was incredible.
Yeah, I was at that game.
Yeah, I enjoyed that for the company, all of us boys. I don't get to enough Socceroos games. I really need to, but they're just always on at the worst possible times.
Yeah, they're always like a Tuesday or a Thursday night or something all the time.
So hard
when everybody wants to watch. It's a football thing at that time. Who has time to go to a Socceroos game?
100%. So probably that one for me. I don't know about RJ.
Yeah, South Korea.
Yeah, look, I think South Korea, again, that was that one. That was probably the biggest one for our history. But I think the one, again, for the last World Cup, I think it was against Honduras to get into the World Cup. I think Jednak got a hat-trick in that game. That was I think it was 3-1, actually, in that game to get to the final. That was pretty mad as well. It wasn't exactly, obviously, that 2005 vibe, but it was still a really good vibe in the stadium to get that over the line and qualify for the World Cup and stuff. And the other one, boys, pizza, knife and fork, or with your hands?
I'm a grub, mate. It's all hands to me.
Your hands kind of going.
Yeah, I'm hands for me as well. But like I said, today, you guys know, and I went down to got a wood fire pizza, and I'm there eating with my hands, and there's these posh people next to me with their fork and knife, and I'm just like, is it me or is it them or what? But yeah, it's hands for me for pizza.
I don't know. I'm controversial here. I think most of the time, I think it depends on the topping. Because if you get too much on there, you try lifting it up and it just all flops like Arsenal. I mean, just like bad pizza, of course. But what do you do?
Mate, the pizza joints you guys like generally have like no topping anyway. One bit of prosciutto, one mushroom, half a bit of ham. Need toppings, mate. Get a kebab joint pizza. That's class. That's all class. But it's unanimous, basically, with the chat. It's all about the hands, boys. Hands all day long.
If you do go like the time when I went to Italy a few times,
garbage pizza.
No, I'll give you garbage pizza. When you actually do order, most people order a pizza for themselves. It's the only time I've eaten with a fork and knife because they actually serve you the pizza and it's not cut at all. They haven't dissected it, and that's actually just your meal. And you eat with a.
I see him leave the crust a lot, Rob. When I was in Sicily,
I do.
They were eating around the crust, and I'm like, like, why are you doing that for? And they're like, oh, we don't want to waste our appetite on the bread part, or like the crust bit. I'm like, okay, then I'll eat it. That's no problem.
Yeah, I do every now and then leave the crust on.
Mate, I'm going to be controversial and say that the pizzas in Italy are garbage. There is zero topping, mate. Zero topping. It's ridiculous. You order a ham and pineapple like a good bloke.
Oh my god!
And there's no pineapple on there. There's like 2.5 bits of ham. Italian pizzas are a joke. The pizzas you get at Italian restaurants here down under, or kill the Italian ones straight up. Controversial, I don't care. Go North Macedonia. Boys.
Scotty, you're up, I think.
Yep, I want to do something a bit different tonight. I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to make a statement, and we're going to call this game Yeah, Nah. I'll make a statement. If you're cool with it, yeah. If you're not cool with it, nah. Okay, very simple. Yeah, nah. That's it. Letting the girlfriend pay for dinner. Not wife, girlfriend.
No.
RJ?
I don't know what I should say here, to be honest. I'm married, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I'm a nah.
Back in your glory days, mate.
I'm a nah.
It was just too many. It got too expensive if I had to pay for it all myself, Robbie, for all those dates I had. Nah. In all seriousness, no. You got to pay for it.
It's a yeah for me. It's a yeah. I'm Maltese. I like to keep my money in my pocket, mate.
You're an equality man, are you, Scott? Very good. I like that.
Nothing would make her more beautiful to me than paying for dinner.
Tighter. Sorry.
Next one. Adult men wearing soccer jerseys to the shops or to a pub or to a restaurant when a game's not on. Yeah, nah.
This is me literally every day, every weekend. So it's a yes, definitely for me.
I often get criticised for wearing the same sort of football gear around, so I've got to say, yeah, nothing wrong with it, mate. It's not a wedding. What's a big deal?
Yeah.
I reckon I've got more football kits than actual clothes in my wardrobe, so that's part of my.
I'm loving looking at these in the chat. I can't put these up on screen because it's too rapid, but I'm a massive yeah for that. Having a second team or having a team in every league. So people that say, yeah, this is my Spanish team, this is my Bundesliga team, this is my team in the A-League, this is my team here. Having a team in every league. Yeah, no.
Look, I'll go quickly in this. It's controversial for me. I've got obviously been Italian background and my family is strong, so I've got two teams, one in the Serie A, one in the EPL, none more. I literally do know someone, he's got a team in like every single league in like he could pretty much support everyone in the Champions League. He's got one in like Holland. He's got one in Germany. That's a big no for me. But yeah,
it's I
generally love Juve and United. I know they're two different teams, and some people I don't advertise it because some people get upset. But I genuinely love both my clubs, and I have for a long time. You know, Juve has been in my family since I was born, and I've been a United fan for nearly a quarter of a decade, so I love them both. And yeah, if that hurts,
it's all right, Rob. If you don't really like Manchester United, you can just come out and say it, man.
It's a great time to abandon ship. Jump off, mate.
Never, mate. Through good and bad, mate.
RJ, yeah, nah.
Yeah, I don't mind it, to be honest. I just think, but ultimately, I don't care what anyone says. There will be one. If you have 3 or 4 teams, you always pick the one that you end up defaulting. Like when Chelsea play Inter in the Champions League, I'm not afraid to say I'd rather Chelsea get ahead because I'm just more closely connected to them. And that's just how it is.
Boys, I've got 3 more because the purpose of this was just like a yeah, nah. But you guys have felt the need to explain every answer. So
I'll try and keep yeah, nah from the rest, all right?
It's your fault. All right, you take a young lady or gentleman out for dinner on a date and they order a salad for dinner.
That's enough for me, mate. Definitely.
Nah. They don't get a second date and no kiss goodnight.
No way,
3 card offense, mate.
That's why I married my wife, mate. She was right into it. Getting into the seafood platters, mate. Big plate of pasta.
That's expensive, Rob.
Yeah, no, it would have been a nah because she ordered expensive food. She wouldn't have made a second date.
Loved it. I love my food.
All right. 2 more. Wearing kits from a team you don't support because you love the look of the kit.
It's a nah for me. I don't do it, so nah.
I'm the same, to be honest. Not offended, but nah, not for me.
Yeah, I'm a nah. I'm a nah. Last one. You go to a pub or a restaurant, you order a really nice steak. Not your cheap steak, like your expensive steak. But then you dip it into sauce or gravy. Yeah, nah.
Not really expensive ones for me, no.
I normally do a half and half. I like to eat something without the sauce, and then if it's quality, then no sauce. If it needs a bit of extra taste, then I'll dunk it in. So I don't know. It's a 50-50 for me.
I'm a yeah, mate. I need my mushroom sauce with my steak. Absolutely.
Even if it was $150 tomahawk steak or whatever, you don't care.
Mate, quite simply, unless the lady I was taking out was paying, I wouldn't order $150 steak.
Fair point.
So
Yeah,
it's a
that
yeah
makes
for
sense.
me. Get the
I
mushroom
could-
sauce.
I could see you just pulling out like a garlic sauce out of your pocket as well as a backup.
I generally carry garlic sauce in my back pocket and smoky barbecue sauce in the front. So I'm always covered. But boys, they were my yeah nahs for this week. I'm going to try and do
I
them.
like them, Boogie. Well done.
Oh, look at this. RJ, straight from the book of RJ.
Wow.
Getting a salad, that's a mistake. And Lee,
Love it.
it's nice to see you in here, man. I've bumped into you on a few channels in the chat. Hopefully you've
I definitely don't. I would never have a beef with this bloke after that comment. Fantastic.
Oh, yes. No, mate, hopefully you've subbed as well and we see you back because with puns like that, you'd fit right in here. I want to scroll back up for our last quickfire. It's come from Tom. We always love quickfires from you. 7 years to the day since Stevie G lasted 38 seconds.
I remember that.
Before getting sent off in his last appearance against United. What is your favourite red card?
Ooh, hard one, man. There's a lot over the years.
Very tough one.
Favorite red card against your team, for your team, does it matter?
Oh, I don't think it matters. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you've got one?
I can't think of one. Yeah, go.
Look at that. I'll go first. I'm going to say, only because I had a really good giggle at this one. It's only happened recently. Thomas Partey's red card when he came back from AFCON. So I can't remember who it was against. He flew back from AFCON like the day they got knocked out. Arteta's put him in to like turn the game for us. And he was red carded. I don't even think he lasted very long. It was boom, straight red. See you later. But the one that broke my heart most was Zidane's headbutt on that.
That was one. I just seen that in the chat. I'm going to use that one from Moe the way. I think that could have been one of the boys from work. That has to go down as one of the most historic red cards ever, to be honest. So yeah, definitely, man. That definitely helped us get over the line, mate.
Yeah, Cantona's one. It's got to be up there for me.
Cantona's one was crazy, man. But still. I think as another, not a favorite one, but do you remember a couple of years back? I think it was Liverpool and City. I think it was maybe Mane that got sent there, like fly kicked. It was in the moment, but I think Edison like straight to the head, man. I think it ended up 5-1 to City after the red card. But that was a crazy one as well, man.
Mm.
Oh, so many.
Yeah,
So many.
I had a favorite couple of red cards, but they just weren't given. You know.
I was going to say if you bring up like the Maguire one or something.
You know what? Even Sons against Rudiger that time, the shithousery from Rudiger to get him sent off, that was quite good. But even, what was it do you remember, I think it was, who was it, the striker, Aguero? I think it was Aguero on Luis. It was at the end of the game, and he went studs up, sideways on his knee, and Fabregas got actually locked in a headlock from Fernandinho. I remember it just boiled over. It was a fantastic. Was it
Drogba that got sent off in the 08 Champions League final?
Oh yeah, the of Rado, the referee ruled that game. I'll never forget it. Yes.
Was that a second yellow red or was it straight red? I can't remember.
No, I can't remember actually. So no, actually that was just a rigged game. That wasn't that. So plenty of good ones.
Yeah, those Arsenal sneakers, the Stella McCartneys deserve a red card. I'll give them that. But look, boys, on that note, and what did I text you in the middle of the day?
Yep, easy a short one tonight, as you always say.
Looks like it should be a short one tonight, boys. Not much to talk about, and I look at the clock, and it is gone. But long streams are a yeah for me. It's a yeah if the live chat's buzzing like it has been tonight. Before we wrap this thing up, we aren't streaming on Thursday evening, obviously, because of the Socceroos match. We'll all be cheering them on. But we will be back then on Tuesday evening, same time, same place. Thank you to everyone in the live chat. Please, on your way out, before we finish this stream, smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's really helping us to grow and get our content out there. But I'm going to go over to my man RJ to give his final words.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I'm just going to give myself a cheeky little plug. So in front of me, I got this book delivered to me today from England. And the reason why I'm showing you all is because, fortunately, I was able to have an article written into it. And you can see here, not sure if you can, basically it's thanks very much for contributing. So it was nice to join a few other well-recognised writers in the Chelsea community to produce that book, which is for a charity that raises funds for the veterans over in the UK. And also, it was nice to have a debut article with Off the Sport on the whole Chelsea ownership situation. So it's been quite a busy week on the article and book writing front. So I'll leave you on
You're
that.
doing the right thing. No, nothing. Nothing.
It. No, I
That's
like
not
it,
my
mate.
fault.
You penned me down. What can I say?
Robbie.
Look, just quickly, I just want to congratulate as well, RJ, and especially that Optus write-up. I checked that one out, and like I said, you got a real knack for with the words, mate. So congrats on that. Very well done.
Cheers.
And yeah, enjoy the week of internationals. Unless you're Scott, Forza Italian, get those Socceroos up, mate. Good luck to the boys, and big ups to big Mitch Duke. Hopefully, he gets that hat trick and or gives us the big celebration if he gets on the score sheet.
Let's see it, Mitch. Let's hope these Socceroos get a great win because, by Lord, we all deserve it. But until then, enjoy your football. Stay safe. We'll see you back next Tuesday. Take care.